chapter 15. In Luke chapter 15, we're fixing to begin at verse 11 and 12. I'm going to just refresh your memory right quick. He talked about the woman in 8 through 10, and as a parable, she had 10 silver coins and lost one. And she's in need of that one coin for sure. She's, well, like all of us, we want to we don't want to lose anything that we have. And so the woman had one, and so she gets a broom and lights a lamp and sweeps the house until she finds it, and then she calls her friends and neighbors to rejoice with her. This is the same general meaning as the one before this, where he uses the 100 sheep and one had gone astray. And so in that parable with the sheep, he said that there's rejoicing in heaven on the return of one who had been lost. In this parable, in the parable of the coin, he said there's a joy in the presence of the angels. And so they both have the same meaning, the parable of the sheep and the coins. Jesus is putting the emphasis on a sinner who repents, and he's comparing a repenting tax collector earlier in that chapter to self-righteousness of scribes and the Pharisees. So that's where we are. And so now we're ready for verse 11 and 12. Jesus moves now to the parable of the prodigal son, or the lost son. This parable, by the way, is only recorded by Luke. He's the only one who records this one. In verse 11 and 12, he said, a man had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, Father, give me your share of the estate that falls to me. So he divided his wealth between them. And the father had 2 sons. And this may be one of the most beautiful of Jesus' parables. I can't say that it is, but I'm saying that it is one of them, the most beautiful of his parables. It's full of human sympathy. It's full of human love. And all 3 that we've studied, and this one, are spoken in the presence of tax collectors, sinners, Pharisees, and scribes. They're all there to listen to these parables. So they came to hear Jesus speak and to teach. But the Pharisees came. They didn't come for that. They came to spy and criticize and accuse him. And so the younger son said to his father, on his part, he wants his part of the inheritance, his legal part of his inheritance. According to Jewish law, these 2 sons, the younger gets 1/3 of the inheritance, and the older son gets 2/3. So that, I guess apparently that's what he's asking for. And so, and I might mention this too, according to custom, the father could, during his lifetime, dispose of his property as a gift, and whoever he wished to do that to. In verse 13, he says, and not many days later, the younger son gathered everything together and went on a journey into a distant country. So this country's pretty far away. And there he squandered his estate with loose living. So either the younger son is given money for the value of maybe property and goods that he would have inherited, we're not sure, or he could have sold it, we don't know. But he gets his inheritance, and we're not told what country he went, what distant country he went to. But we do know this: he squandered everything, loose living. He's kicking up his heels in sin. Until it's all gone. All his money's gone. And he was beyond the influence and control of his father. He's on his own. And so we're not told what area he went to. Any comments or questions so far? Verse 14. When he had spent everything, a severe famine occurred in that country, and he began to be impoverished because he spent every bit of his money, and now he don't know where to go or who to turn to. So the son spent everything he had, and the famine hits now, and now he has no income. he has used what we would call bad judgment, hasn't he? Terrible judgment. And this was the end that he found himself. He had reached the bottom of the barrel. He's there. There was a famine. The people are suffering. He was in want. He found himself in a place he never thought he would ever be in. But he's there. And he's, what we read, is impoverished. He is out of everything. And so verse 15 and 16, so he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, and he sent him into the fields to feed the swine. And he would have gladly filled his stomach with the pods that the swine were eating, and no one was given anything to him. The first thing you notice, he hired himself out. King James, I think, says joined himself. I don't know if you have a King James, but I think King James says he joined himself. So this young man either asked for a job, or he may have been offered may have just offered his services, I don't know, or the owner may have offered him a position. But notice that the key word there, no one is giving him anything. They're not handing him anything. Regardless, he went into the fields of the owner to feed the swine with the pods. If the son is Jewish, then he's in a fix, isn't he? He'd be in a fix because he is working with unclean animals. So here this young Jewish man, probably from a wealthy family, they had apparently a pretty good life. And so now he's working and feeding unclean animals, and this would be an all-time low, wouldn't it? If you were a Jewish kid and you've spent all your money and there's a famine and you're on your own and nobody's giving you anything, then this is a low point in your life. He's even down to even a worse condition because he's hungry. When a person is really hungry, he'll eat anything if he thinks it'll help him. He's faced with eating the pods, which contain the seeds. The pod contains the seeds such as beans or corn or peas, and it could be a corn cob or the husk over the cob. Either way, it wouldn't be fit to eat. You can't eat it, and I don't know how much nutrition be in it that would be left, but it'd be tough. Verse 17 through 19. But when he came to his senses, he had said to himself, how many of my father's hired men have more than enough bread? But I am dying here with hunger. I will get up and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me as one of your hired men. All the time he's working in the fields. All the time he's taking care of the swine. All the time he's eating from maybe the pods or the leaves that surround it. He's hungry. And he came to himself. He came to his senses. So, let me ask you, does sometime it take something like that for us to come to our senses? Does it happen that way? Yeah, it does. Sometimes it does. It happens that way. Where you have to get to a low, get to the bottom, before you come to your senses. And this is him. He remembers that the people he worked for his father, they worked for him. I don't know if he said to himself, I would say to myself, boy, I was crazy to leave home. I wish I'd have never done that. I don't know, but he's basically saying that. He remembers his family. He remembers the people that worked for his father. So he says, I'm no longer willing to be called I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Now, he's got his speech laid on. It's the lowest point in his life. When he left his father, he lost. I don't know how to say this. When he left his father, and all he lost, he gained an appreciation of what? All the better things he once had. All the better things he once had. The things he had in life. And now he's come to himself. He opens his eyes and he sees what kind of condition himself is in and what kind of a mistake he made in this life. And he realizes he has no one to blame but who? Himself. You ever got there? You ever got to that point where you say, you know, I wish I could blame what I did on somebody else, but it was me. I am to blame. That's when you come to yourself, isn't it? I don't know if I've ever told you this, and this is not this bad. It just, it shows you what happens when you, later when you come to yourself. I was in charge of leading a brigade of soldiers on a road trip to Fort Hood, a long way to Fort Hood, and it was in vehicles. I don't remember how many vehicles there were. You had 800 soldiers, so you had to have buses and for them, and you had to have all the vehicles we have to train in, and you go in the dusty sand and jump out of them, and jeeps and all that. You can imagine how many that was. And I had divided into marches, and I had planned a route. It was going through Dallas and around and heading for Temple that way to Gatesville. And I had to have a refuel point halfway. Well, I had gone there before and planned a route out, and I had it all planned out, perfect. And the refuel point was by a gas station right off of the interstate, off I-35. And there was a road, and then people pulled into that gas station. But if you went straight for about 100 yards, there was a foundation where a building used to be, and that was a perfect place to park all them fuel tankers so they could come in and refuel and go back out. And you could see it from that gas station. Well, when the route began, I became what was called a company commander, and I had my unit. And so I thought my first sergeant understood everything. I thought he knew everything. I planned all this thing out. I had it all written in the brigade, and everybody had it, a copy, a march order. And so we're going along, and I'm thinking my first sergeant, he knows where we're going. He knows where we're going to do this. And so I kicked him out ahead, make sure there's no traffic problems. And he got off, and he said, "It's good, you can come on." So I got about 25 vehicles, and here I come, and I get to that gas station, and he's in the gas station, and he's going like this. Have you ever vapor locked? I vapor locked. I pulled all 25 vehicles in that gas station, and I filled them up there. I completely forgot about the refuel point back there. And so I'm standing outside, I don't know, waiting for them vehicles to fill up. I'm standing there with my first sergeant, and I said, "Yeah, you can go ahead and let them guys go get them Twinkies and and all that stuff." And then I looked over there, I could see it, the refuel point. And the first sergeant told me that I turned this white. I could not believe what had happened. Beverly had only given me $40 to be away for 2 weeks. I don't know how I'm going to fill in, I pay for this. And about that time, a pickup pulls up with my buddy who worked at Brigade, and he worked in logistics, and he had a credit card, a government credit card. So I paid for all those vehicles with a government credit card, and I knew that it could come back on me. I knew that, but it never did. I guess the guy had so many tickets that they just and paid it. But the point I'm making, I guess, I bet you're saying to yourself, what kind of point is he trying to make? Sometimes we can't blame anybody else but ourselves for what kind of condition we have found ourselves in. And this boy here, young man, has done the same thing. He's come to himself. He's opened his eyes to what a mistake he's made in this life. And he can't blame anybody. After saying to himself, he would go back and he'd tell his father what he was going to tell him. And in verse 20 and 21, so he got up, he came to his father, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion for him and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Boy, this is moving, isn't it? This is compassionate. This is mercy that you see. Mercy. He's looking for mercy, and his father's giving it to him. Many of us may be able to relate to this. His father was looking at him, and you know that on a daily basis, every day, you know what that father was doing. What do you think that father was doing every day? Worrying, praying for his youngest son, praying he'll be okay, praying that God will take care of him, praying that he'll be back with us. And so we see this man, this young man with a repenting heart to his father. He'd be satisfied what the father was going to, what he had for him. I mean, the message for me right here is no matter how far we have fallen from God, we can do what? Repent and come back before it's too late. We can repent with a sincere heart. We can come back to Him and receive His love and mercy. And that's what he's asking for from his father. Verse 22, 24, but his father said to his slaves, quickly bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring in his hand and sandals on his feet, and bring the fattened calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found. And so they began to celebrate. I'm sure that when you read that, I'm sure that the young son, his clothes are probably in rags, and they're probably in terrible shape. And he may not even had any shoes, because he says, put the robe on him to honor him, put a ring on his hand, put shoes on his feet, all a symbol of restored sonship. He's his son again. He's been forgiven. And this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. He was lost, but he's been found. The fattened calf was killed. This too is a custom. It was the law of hospitality. It required the killing of the fatted calf. And now it's time to celebrate. And so now we come to the second part of the parable. Two parts of this parable. The oldest son, verse 25 through 27. Now his older son was in the field, and when he came, he approached the house, and he heard the music and the dancing, and he summoned one of his servants and began inquiring what these things could be. And he said to him, your brother has come. Your father has killed the fattened calf, because he has received him back safe and sound. I think that many of us can relate with this older son. We know how he feels. He left on his own accord. He took everything that was his. And now he's coming back. His older son is saying, now he's coming back and expecting that all will be okay now. You can just come back. That's probably what the older son is thinking. The older son heard all the commotion going on. The servant told him what was going on. Now the older son is mad. A deep-seated mad. The servant was probably thinking of the older son, that he would take this information that he's given him and he'd have joy like the father did, wouldn't he? That's what he thought, maybe. And now he refuses to go in the home. He ain't going to go in. Verse 28 through 30, but he became angry and was not willing to go in. He don't even want to go in the house. And his father came out and began pleading with him. Yet he answered and said to his father, look, for so many years I've been serving you, and I've never neglected a command of yours. Yet you have never given me a young goat. You've never given me the stuff you've given him, so that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, do you see those words? This son of yours came, who has devoured your wealth with prostitutes. You killed the fatted calf for him. Well, I think we can all see what the older son is saying. It was amazing to me, this son of yours. He's saying, this son of yours. We're going to see a difference here in a minute from the father. So first his father came out, began pleading with him. Second thing happens, the older son reminds his father what he has done, and he obeyed all of his commands for years. And the third thing you see, he never did any of this for me. And the fourth thing you see, he calls his brother, this son of yours. He's wasted your wealth with prostitutes. Now let's look on. The older son, he's straight up with his father. I mean, he just lays it out there. He tells his father how he feels. Verse 31 and 32. And he said to him, son, you have always been with me, and all that is mine is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice, for this brother of yours, he turns it back on him, doesn't he? This brother of yours was dead and has begun to live. He was lost and has been found. Well, I mean, the father said it all, didn't he? He said it all. The father settled his oldest son, settled him down. You've always been with me. All that I have is yours. Notice the father's words, but the brother of yours. The father's reminding him that he's still your brother. Your brother was lost and has been found. What do you think about all that? Yes, ma'am.
It reminds me of a verse in the Bible, I don't know where it's at, but it talks about if we have a brother in sin, and we go to them and they continue to sin, just cut them off from the church, turn them over to Satan. You know, maybe they may return. It sounds like that.
Yeah.
That when they come to when they're all used up in sin and they see it for what it is and where they're at, that they're returned back to the church.
Okay, yeah, same thing. When the father spoke to his oldest son, he did so tenderly. He did it tenderly. A softened answer. All that I have is yours, son. It also, what you said, it reminds... Yeah, I know. In Proverbs 15 and verse 1, I always think of this. He says there in Proverbs 15 and verse 1, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So now it turns out that the father really is a mediator now between who? Those two sons. Two sons. The father says, all I have is yours. He indicates his father may not divide the inheritance anymore like he did the first time. We don't know. We also see the traits of the father. He's just, he's fair, he's tender, he's merciful, he's unforgiving, or he is forgiving, I'm sorry. What are those traits of? What are those traits of? God. God. The traits of Almighty God. And that's really what this parable is all about. How much He loves us. Well, how He treats us. We can always do what? Come back before it's too late. And we have an inheritance. Yes, sir.
I know, as hard as this is, just like your example you gave a while ago, it was hard for you, but you had to.
Yeah. Yeah, own up there.
That message for all of us, and that's easy to see, but I can't go through this without realizing, yes, the prodigal son repented. He repented openly when he's by himself.
He did so.
And he repented to his father.
Yeah.
But his father forgave him and ran to him and kissed him before he repented.
Yeah.
And that's the part that we probably struggle with.
Yeah.
Not one or two of us, maybe everybody in this room has been guilty of saying, well, he hadn't he did wrong, but he has not owned up to it.
Yeah.
So I can't forgive him until he owns up to it.
Yeah.
The Father gives us an example here where he was forgiving when he saw him from a distance.
Yeah.
And
ran to him.
Ran to him.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful.
That's even harder, probably, for most of us than the prodigal son's repentance.
Yeah, probably so. We don't like to think like that, do we? We want to hold it against them. That's right. Thank you, Jim. Anybody else?
Maybe I'm just trying to take up for the older son here, but I think another lesson that we might give is the people that are here every day and that are working behind the scenes every day need some
Cooke. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Martha.
When that rich man hired those laborers at 6 a.m. and then 4 p.m.
Yeah.
They all got the same dollar.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
He's probably going to make it into heaven. Maybe he won't get as many jewels in the crown. But doesn't that kind of seem the same? The guy's saying, hey, I've been here all the whole time. And he's getting what I'm getting.
Yeah, he just now got here. Yeah. Yeah, you took all you had with you and spent it all. Thank you. Were you going to say something? Anybody else? Kent, you're being quiet back there, Kent. I hear you. I hear the wheels rolling up there. Yeah. 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 It is. Oh, yeah. We're-
We can find ourselves in all three of those positions.
Yeah,
All three of them. The
Yeah.
Father, the prodigal son, and the older brother.
all three of
We
them.
can find ourselves.
Yeah, that's right. You're exactly right. Yes, ma'am.
Since his father took him back, he really could have not said, make me what I should, one of your heart servants.
Yeah. But he's willing to, wasn't he? What do you think, birthday boy?
Well, I think everybody that has a son may have a prodigal son.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know it's been a change in my life.
Yeah.
Our son is not always as pleasing,
Yeah.
and I have had to learn how to deal with some of his mistakes.
Yeah.
And like, he's been married several times.
Yeah.
I've never mistreated his wife
Yeah.
or, their kids. Even though you don't want to,
Yeah. You still do, don't you?
you still do it. It's just not in you to
Yeah.
be mean-spirited.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, you have to accept it,
Yeah.
even though you disagree with it
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Because we're not supposed to be mean-spirited as a Christian. Yes, sir.
You know, this is one of those situations where there's a lesson in grace here.
Yes, sir. Grace and mercy. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I read somewhere in the Bible, I don't remember where, I'm sorry. But, and it said like if we're kind of done wrong, if we keep quiet, like God sees, we don't have to go around saying, well, hey, I've been wishing I had baptism every day for 50 years, keeping that thing needle-free or, whatever. But, and I still go back to even just those workers, the ones that got the same pay for doing 15 minutes worth of work or an hour,
Yeah.
if that one sit all day, but, because I really think he wants us to, like Jesus, to get it off ourselves, maybe like the Pharisees,
Yeah.
and actually be glad for the others, be more selfless. But
Yeah.
we're people and we're selfish.
Yeah, it's natural we do that. Yeah.
But
As
I
a
really
human.
think that, that older son, he should have been, and that was what the father was saying, man, the guy was lost, he was dead to us, but now he's back.
Yeah.
Don't focus on
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
If that was the case, Jesus wouldn't have went to the cross.
That's really what
He
the
didn't want to.
that's really what the father was bringing that older son back down to understand what you said, that he needs to not just it's not about you, but
And then on the prodigal son, when somebody just said there, he didn't even have to ask to be just treat me as one of your workers, because the father had already forgiven them. That just reminds me of that parable of well, if there were two guys, one was forgiven a $500 debt and one a $5 million debt, who do you think's gonna
yeah.
be more grateful?
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
the
true.
son really was when he said, just make me a hired hand.
Yeah, that's true.